Over the years, Clash of Clans has become way easier, from reduced training times to the best troops being significantly easy to use. But the thing is, we have been seeing more and more of this recently with the introduction of Root Riders, the Overgrowth spell, and more. So in this video, we'll discuss if Clash of Clans is getting too easy, why it seems like Supercell's destroying strategy, and what changes have been good or bad throughout the 11 years Clash has been out. Let's start with a brief explanation of how much harder Clash of Clans was in the OG days. Troops used to take a really long time to train, like 6 hours in an army, and the worst part was, back in the day, if your base got attacked, it would kill the troops in your army camps. So imagine waiting like 6 hours for one army to train. You log in to realize that you were attacked, and you would have to wait 6 more hours to do one attack. Like, oh my gosh. But thankfully, over the years, training time has been reduced massively, and that horrible feature where the troops were killed was removed. Oh, and by the way, that feature was just one of the many features back in the day that made the game way harder. I just mentioned that one because we don't have time for all of them. That one was just one of the worst ones. Also, back in the old days of Clash of Clans, there were no magic items, league or raid medals, not even clan games or the gold pass. So that meant it was way harder to get loot because you could pretty much only get it from attacks and clan wars. Oh, and by the way, clan wars wasn't introduced until 2014, 2 years after the game's launch. So essentially you could only get it from attacks as a free-to-play player, which we can probably all agree wasn't good. So all of these added features making it easier to progress, like clan wars, league medals, raid medals, clan games, the gold pass, events, and the star bonus have been mostly good changes. So yeah, back in the day, Clash of Clans was way harder and way harder to progress, and making it easier has only been an overall good thing, but those changes have all been focused on progression. The changes that haven't always been good are changes to how easy it is to attack. And that's where one of my favorite troops, the Electro Dragon, comes in. So many people have complained that Electro Dragons are too OP and too easy to use, which makes sense, because you can just set like 7 Electro Dragons down and use some rage and freeze spells and 2 or 3 star pretty easily. Like, go look at your battle log, and if you're a Town Hall 11 plus, you will probably see that most people who have beat your base are just E-Drag spammers. You hardly have to even plan attacks with Electro Dragons. They came out 5 years ago in the Town Hall 12 update. Oh, and speaking of Town Hall 12, if you're a non-rush Town Hall 12 and up, please join my clan Cheese Peeps. My clan is kinda dead right now, so we need to build it up. But anyways, ever since then, Electro Dragons have been the most hated troop, because they pretty much take no skill at all. But do Electro Dragons make Clash of Clans too easy? No, they don't. They actually never broke the game or anything. They're just known as the noob troop that is super OP. By the way, I guess I'm a noob because, yes, it's true, I spam Electro Dragons with rage and freeze spells all the time. So I think Electro Dragons are fine, and I actually appreciate having an easy but OP troop in the game because then noobs like me, just kidding, I'm not a noob, can actually get at least a 2-star. So, besides Electro Dragons, there haven't really been any troops that people complain are too OP and too easy to use until the recent Town Hall 16 update in late 2023, where we were introduced to the the hated Root Rider. But hey, you, real quick, right before we talk about Root Riders, I just need to show you something pretty crazy. Somehow, only 2% of people watching are subscribed, so please do so because it's free, and I'm going to continue making Clash of Clans videos. Anyways, when first launched, the Root Riders were way too good. You could basically put like 13 of them down, and they would just plow through the walls like butter. They pretty much make walls as useless as driving 100 miles to a random supermarket, and then stealing something as small as a banana, all to end up in jail for 5 years. With Root Riders, you could pretty much 3-star any base in just like 90 seconds. This was a big problem. Just watch this clip.
Mass Root Rider needs an emergency nerf now. This army is unstoppable. All you have to do is put 13 Root Riders on the same tile and the base will disappear within 90 seconds.
So, unsurprisingly, Supercell nerfed the Root Riders like 2 or 3 times already, but they are still way too good, and I think most people agree with me on this. In fact, one of the literal best players in the world, Klaus, made a tweet that said, "I'm very disappointed. The perfect balance of last year has collapsed in such an instant. Can't call it a strategy game anymore. I watched several streams and almost all of them did this same thing. Nothing exciting, just boring. How can a game that is about lining up characters in a horizontal line get exciting? Is Supercell going to abandon the COC competition scene? No one is surprised anymore when they see a 15-5 war. Or is this what Supercell is looking for? Hopefully something will change before there is no one left. Clearly the worst meta ever. So yeah, one of the best players ever literally said that, and if I haven't told you enough times, this is clearly a big problem. And about the overgrowth spell, it is a mix of a freeze and invisibility spell that covers a big area, making everything invisible and frozen. And just like the Root Riders, it's OP. You can pretty much make your troops go anywhere you want with these things. The spell is kind of like that flare ability from Boom Beach. If you ever played that game or if you've ever heard of it, Supercell made it. People are combining these new overgrowth spells with the Root Riders to do some of the most easy and OP spam attacks ever. Thankfully, the Root Riders have been nerfed a few times, and I don't know if the overgrowth spell has or not. But anyways, along with everything I just said, there have been more things recently that make it almost seem like Supercell is purposely removing strategy from the game. The last two events have been focused on two different super troops, the Super Dragon and the Rocket Balloon. The point is, Supercell is giving bonus ice cubes to players who use these troops during the events, and that may seem completely normal. It is completely normal, but just think about this for a second. These are some of the most easy and spammy troops in the game, so it almost seems like Supercell is pushing spam attacks and killing strategy, but I don't see a single reason on why they would kill strategy in a game that is literally built on strategy. So I don't think they are, but it's just an interesting theory, if you could call it that, to think about. Okay, but anyways, the big question is Clash of Clans becoming too easy? And the answer is absolutely not yes. Yes, I 100% think the game is getting way too easy. After the release of these two new units, things have changed a lot. I said this like 79 times, but it's a big problem right now. Remember I said Root Riders have received a couple nerfs, but they still have a ton of HP and take low housing space. So these two units and more, like some hero equipment that we won't get into right now, are making the game way too easy right now for top players. But hey, think about it. Most of us probably know by now how good the Clash of Clans developers are. They actually listen to their community, and they know what the game needs and doesn't need. They also know how to keep the game balanced, usually. So, hopefully they understand these problems and nerf them more, because the previous nerfs haven't been enough. I think they probably will, or they'll do something else to fix it. So let's not worry about it too much. Okay, I want you to scroll down to the comments right now and leave a comment on your thoughts about this video or the state of the game. I will probably respond and we can discuss all of this. Oh, and hey, remember to subscribe, and if you want to see 10 times Clash of Clans messed up, click this video right here on the screen. Fine, I'll wait for you, but just click it. YouTube won't recommend it anymore, but if you just click it right now, it will get more views. And more views equals more money for me.